Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by Paychex, one of the leading providers of HR, payroll, retirement, and software solutions for businesses of all sizes. My name is Steve Boese. For the first time in 20 years, an increase in the gender pay gap. For the first time in more than 20 years, the pay gap increased between women and men in the United States, according to recently released census data. The Census Department measures the gender pay gap using a metric called the female-to-male earnings ratio. The female-to-male earnings ratio compares the median earnings of women working full-time year-round to the median earnings of men working full-time year-round. For full-time year-round workers, the female-to-male earnings ratio in 2023 fell to 82.7% from 84% in 2022. Essentially, in aggregate, women are earning just less than 83% of what men are earning. This is the first statistically significant annual decrease in the female-to-male earning ratio since 2003. In analyzing the data, economists say it reflects labor market dynamics in a complicated period during the confusing post-pandemic labor market recovery when many women finally returned to work full-time, especially in harder-hit, low-wage industries where they are overrepresented, like hospitality, social work, and caretaking. This widening of the gender pay gap is a reversal from the previous 5 years when the ratio had been narrowing, a trend that may have been partly driven by average median earnings for women rising because so many low-wage women had been pushed out of these full-time jobs. S.J. Glynn, the Labor Department's chief economist, said it's too soon to tell whether 2023 was an outlier in the data or the start of a worrisome new trend for the gender wage gap. But Glynn said that even a reversion to the pre-pandemic status quo is a reminder of how far behind women were in the first place and shows how the pandemic slowed the march towards gender pay equity. The Census Department calculates the gender wage gap by comparing only men and women who work year-round in full-time jobs, but a more worrisome picture for women emerges from the data if you include part-time workers, said the National Partnership for Women and Families. While many factors lead to inequitable pay between women and men, some experts note that it is not rooted only in salary and wages paid by employers. They argue that society places too high of expectations and too low a value on the unpaid contributions of women, referred to as invisible work. As a result, we have more than just a wage gap. Women feel burnt out and overwhelmed by being unfairly compensated for their work. Invisible work describes work that goes unpaid, unacknowledged, and unregulated. One type of invisible work is emotional labor, a term coined to describe the caregiving work that women do in the workforce that is now also used to refer to them carrying the mental load at home. There are a lot of modern-day terms for this work, but many people still think of it by the more dated description of women's work. In two-gender households, women also do significantly more of the invisible work and the emotional labor, in addition to the physical work, at home, meaning they are often taking on significantly more responsibility in both areas, basically a 24/7 burden. The combination of invisible work and emotional labor can lead to feelings of burnout and overwhelm, and this in turn can negatively impact women's job performance, career advancement, and earning potential. Ultimately, the gender wage gap is not merely a financial issue. It reflects broader societal inequities. By undervaluing the contributions of women in both the workplace and at home, we perpetuate a system that disadvantages women and limits their opportunities. I hope that in 2025, organizations, and let's be honest, for men in general, begin to take these issues more seriously and take tangible, measurable, and meaningful steps to work towards pay equity in the workplace and emotional and physical labor equity at home. We will continue to follow all the important topics and trends in the world of work here on the HR Happy Hour Media Network. That's it for the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors.